Hey everybody, welcome back. My name's Abby with Fitness is Medicine, and today I'm going to give you a full body workout that you can do with one tool, a small medicine ball. I like to use these small ones that are soft because they're easy to hold in your hand. If you don't have anything like this laying around the house, grab a dumbbell. This one's only a 6-pound ball, so you could grab a 3-pound dumbbell or a 5-pound dumbbell, or if you don't have anything like that, grab a water bottle or something similar to give you just a little bit of weight that you can use in one hand. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the shape of a ball. Okay, so today you might notice I'm looking at a different background. My kids have started online school and we don't have good enough internet. So my mother and father-in-law have graciously allowed us to use their home, and I'm here making sure everybody's doing well at school, so I'm doing my video here. All right, so I also wanted to prove that you can just do a workout anywhere you are with very little tools. So I'm going to use their deck. So we're going to start with sit-to-stands and an overhead shoulder press. So find any sturdy surface to sit down on. I'm using this bench. You can use a kitchen chair or a coffee table, anything. And all we're going to do is get your feet about shoulder width apart, stand up, press the ball overhead. This is a really good thing to do working on sit-to-stands so that it forces you not to use your hands. If you have a habit of using your hands to push up, that's okay, but it's good to start working on building those leg muscles in order to avoid using those hands. The stronger your legs are, the better your balance is and the better your chances of maintaining your balance if you lose your balance, so that you don't fall. These are all really what we're aiming for, is to maintain strong muscles which are more supportive on our joints and give us better balance overall. Okay, so we're going to do about 10 of those. And then I'm going to make sure my computer is keeping me here. Okay, next I want you to widen your stance a little bit. We're going to take that ball in both hands still, and we're going to switch back and forth like this with our weight, just shifting back, not really a lunge, just shifting back and forth like this. And then we're going to start adding a side reach with that ball. So when you reach out to the side with a weight, it requires a lot of core engagement, and you may feel that. If you have back pain and this hurts, don't reach so far. Shorten that lever. Just reach to here. You can just reach past the end of your shoulder. But if you don't have back pain, let's work that core. We're working the back muscles, working your shoulder muscles here. You're probably going to feel it a little bit in your biceps. And by doing that weight shift, we're engaging that lower extremity as well. By shifting back and forth between our feet, it takes some good balance control. And adding all of these muscles together will help get your heart rate up and get a little bit more calorie burn as well. Okay, next, if you need to set the ball down and give your arms a break, that's okay. I want you to stand on one foot, grab the ball in one hand, and you can do this either way. You can stand on the same foot. I'm going to stand on the same foot that I'm pressing up with. So stand on one foot, hold the ball right here at your shoulder, and then press up. So we're getting quite a bit of shoulder work out here in the first few exercises. But by only doing the weight on one side, you require more core engagement as well to keep you straight. So you don't want to be leaning over like this to push it up. If you are, and it's too much weight, grab something lighter. So try to keep everything in line. Your hips are level, your shoulders are level, and you're pushing up. So all of that requires core engagement to keep you level, so you're not leaning over. If you do find this is really challenging for your balance, grab onto the back of a chair, or you can do it next to a wall or a counter or a sturdy railing, something to keep you stable. All right, so we did 10. Now we're going to switch sides. Lift up that foot, bring this ball to your shoulder, and press up. If you have any shoulder pain with this, just press here. You can just do a small press. You're still going to engage those shoulder muscles. It just won't be quite as taxing on your joints if you do have any shoulder problems, especially reaching overhead. If all of those hurt and you're doing a shoulder press and it's really bothering your shoulder, maybe do a bicep curl instead. So we'll continue to work one side, engage that core, work on that balance. But if you don't have any shoulder pain, go ahead and do that shoulder press overhead. Okay, next we're going to lower to the ground. So I'm going to bring this down here. And we're going to do an abdominal exercise called a Russian twist. So I want you to be leaning back just a little bit, knees bent, feet on the ground. Grab that ball. I'm going to turn towards the camera just a little bit. And I want you to touch down each side. So you're going to turn. If this hurts your low back, you can take that ball and put it right in your sacrum and kind of lean on it, and then you can just move like this. Or you can have, if you happen to have both of your dumbbells there, grab the other one. You can put a little pillow in the small of your back. You can put a rolled up towel. Tubby's here helping us for the day as well, of course. So if you don't, you can still use that ball. The further out you put your knees and the further you lean back, the more you're going to engage your core. So if that's really difficult for you, bend your knees up more and sit up a little bit taller. So you can kind of lengthen those levers or shorten those levers depending on where you need to be. So along this spectrum here. Okay, do about 10 on each side. Next, we're going to stay down here and lower down to the ground on your back. Grab this ball, we're going to push it right overhead, and then we're going to let it come all the way back here. So we're going to keep our arms straight. This is another way to do your lats, so your latissimus dorsi in your back. A little bit of shoulder extension. Keeping those arms nice and straight. You want to think about flattening your back to the ground here. Keep that back nice and happy. You can engage your core to keep that flat. So it's almost it's a posterior pelvic tilt a little bit. So you're going to kind of bring your pelvis back, engage that core, and protect your low back here. And we're going to go ahead and do a few more of these because this isn't a very heavy weight for this movement. I'm going to go up to 15. That's one thing you can do is if you find you don't have a heavy enough weight to really challenge your muscles, do a few more, and then you can also slow it down. The more slowly you do an exercise, the more muscle fibers have to be recruited, and the stronger those muscles can get. There are some exercises we want to do quickly to work on power, but this isn't one of them. So you can work nice and slowly, and we'll do a few more of them. Like I said, this weight is a little bit light for this exercise. If you find that it's pretty heavy for you, depending on what you grabbed, then you don't have to go all the way to 15. You can stop early. I'd rather have you stop if it's getting too hard, because then you'll break form and you don't want to injure something else. Okay, we're going to stay down here for the last one too. So now we're going to do an opposite chest fly and leg lift. So you're going to put the ball in one hand and put your other leg out nice and straight. So bring this out to the side. Again, keep that back flat to the ground, and you're going to lift your leg and lift your arm together at the same time. Now, as you start this, you're going to realize this is a little bit more challenging than it looks, but I like this one because you're working single-sided, which engages your core more and requires those muscles to actually work a little bit harder. You may find that when you do a chest fly, like if you grabbed a 5 dumbbell and you're doing chest flies with both, it will feel a little bit easier than when you just put one in one hand and have to stabilize, because your body wants to go like this and pull you over. And as you come up, you want to kind of compensate to bring that up, but you have to keep everything here stable in order to do the exercise correctly and not injure anything. So you have to engage more muscles in order to make this happen. Okay, after you've done 10, we'll switch sides. So bend that knee up, straighten out your opposite leg, take this one in your opposite arm, and bring them up and down at the same time. Nice and slowly, keeping that back engaged, nice and flat to the ground. Hi, Tubby. Remember to keep breathing. The other reason this is a really good one is because we're working cross fascia here. We're working all of this through the core. Cross patterns here is really important. Recruiting a lot of extra muscles to do this exercise. Okay, if you have shoulder pain with that one, bend your elbow in and you can do it in a shorter pattern. Okay, let's go through those again. So we're going to start with sit to stand with the shoulder press. I'm going to raise my camera back up here. All right, find your chair or your bench or your coffee table, wherever you're doing your exercises. I think I've got that a bit too far down. All right. Okay, the ball or the weight in both hands, stand up, press overhead. Again, if you have shoulder pain with this, you can just hold it right here. And by just holding the ball here and not using your hands to stand up and down with that bench, you're having to use a lot more muscles in those legs and your core as well. Okay, now we're going to widen that stance and we're going to do our weight shifts, but we're going to add that side reach. So we're kind of reaching up at a diagonal, engaging that core, engaging that posterior chain, engaging your shoulders. Remember, if this does hurt your shoulders, you can just come in here, or you can just hold it and weight shift back and forth. That can be even a challenge depending on your balance level. We're going to do about 10 to each side. Okay, next we're going to do that single leg shoulder press. So stand on one side, and I'm going to do it differently this time. Last time I stood on the same leg and did the press. This time I'm going to stand on the opposite leg. So play with it. It will engage different muscles in your core. So I'm going to stand on this side, press on this side. I know my right's and left, but I think that it makes this opposite on the camera. So when I say my right's and left, it's actually opposite the way that it mirrors it. Keeping your chest and shoulders and hips as level as possible. All right, now we'll switch sides. Remember, if you need to, grab onto something sturdy to aid if you're kind of tipping over a little bit. Make sure your hip is standing up nice and strong here. You never want it to fall out like this. If it is, use something to hang on to keep that engaged and keep it up nice and strong. And 10. Okay, we're going to lower down to the ground for those Russian twists. Move my camera down here. All right. So remember, if you do have any back pain with this, you can put that ball in the small of your back or grab a towel or a pillow, something to kind of lean on. Take that ball, we're going to twist side to side, set it down. If you have low back pain with this and it's really bothering, we don't want, if you have disc problems or low back pain, don't do these. You can also just, use that ball in the small of your back and kind of reach out to the sides like this. This would be another great way to do this. Reaching out to the side, and this way I'm not twisting my spine, but I'm still holding this V position here. Find what works for you along this spectrum. The other thing is if you're feeling like this is pretty easy, I do have a couple clients And you know who you are when I'm doing this, that need a little bit more of a challenge on this, so you need to lean a little further back. You can even bring that weight a little higher. Increase that lever length, that makes it harder. So easier here, you can use your hands. Start in a closer V, and then start extending that back and extending your arms to make it harder. So anywhere along there where you're getting a challenge but you're pain-free. Okay, next we're gonna lie down on our backs and do that lat pull. So lie down, flatten your back to that mat or the floor. And then the other thing is tuck your chin so that the back of your head is on the floor. Many times we start to kind of have that forward posture as we get older, and then people have a hard time even getting down to the floor. So if you find yourself in that position, get just a little bit of a pillow to, you know, support that head so you're not here in this really uncomfortable position. Tuck your chin and flatten your head to the floor if you can. If you can't, get a little bit of a pillow or just a little one, not a big one. I don't want your head really crunched up there, but something so you can keep a good comfortable line between your neck and your spine and everything. So press this up towards the ceiling, keeping your back flat to the ground. Lower it back behind you. 1, 2. Remember, if this feels really easy, let's slow it down, and we'll do a few more. 4. If this is bothering your shoulders, you can do a smaller range of motion just in here. Or you can just do some range of motion without the weight. Sometimes just taking that weight out of it can help relieve that joint pain. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4. Remember maintaining that contraction down here and continuing to breathe. All right, good. 1 more. We're going to do the chest fly with the opposite leg lift. So if your left leg is out straight, your right arm has the ball in it, and you're going to lift them at the same time towards the center. Remember, if this is bothering your shoulder, you can bend that arm in more like this and do a smaller range of motion. Try to keep that back nice and flat to the ground. The other thing you can do is just do it without a weight. All right, so I'm going to switch sides here and show you how I would do it without a weight. So this still will contract that cross fascia and those abdominals. That core is all engaging in order to coordinate those cross movements. If you can, add that weight. If this is the first time you've ever done a chest fly with a little bit of weight, you might have a little bit of soreness here in your pecs tomorrow morning. Just reach your arms out to the side for that good stretch. Keeping that back nice and flat to the ground. And last one here. Okay, great job. Now, if you've got the time and the energy, do a 3rd set. It's good to do that 3rd set to really get that good muscle contraction and really challenge those muscles. If you need any assistance in these, feel free to send me a message. I can make accommodations, I can make alterations to all of these in order to make them pain-free. I don't want anybody pushing through and doing something and hurting yourself. So if you need some modifications, just send me a private message and I'll send you something different you can do. All right, no matter what, keep moving and keep breathing, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.